So hello and welcome to this next video where we will talk about sacrifices in chess. Sacrifices can be beneficial sometimes people may mess up the sacrifices. However, I just want to get things straight about sacrificing. Obviously, do not always do it. If in short games you do not want to sacrifice because you don't have that much time to think if it would actually work, and it may not work, so think about before you sacrifice. But now we just want to go through the basics of what sacrificing is. So sacrificing can help when you're in a bad position. It can help gain a better position if you sacrifice a piece or two or more. And sacrificing, it may lose those valuable pieces or piece, but it will be for self-gain. It will increase your position most likely if you've done it correctly. And it's really about getting advantage of the position. So sacrifices won't work all the time, as I said previously. It's just all about intuition and using your remembrance of position. So if you check out my other video about chess puzzles and how they can help, they can actually also help you very much with sacrifices. Because if I'm being honest, I used chess puzzles and they've helped me with sacrifices in my games. And I really advise anyone, doesn't matter which level you are, to just do chess puzzles. They really help you with your intuition, remembrance of positions, and just to have a feel of the game when you're playing. You just know, oh, I remember this position, I think there's a possible sacrifice here, like that. And now we'll just go through some examples of chess sacrifices. So here's one example of a sacrifice. As I said, sacrifice is very useful. It is when you let go of a valuable piece, like we will now, and it will gain points on the board or improve your position. And it's just when one player gives up a piece either for nothing or in exchange for one of a lesser value in return for some advantage. So like seen here, the white player is sacrificing he's going to be sacrificing one piece, which we will go through together. So you can see here, they've got a nice attack from this bishop on the file, on this diagonal, sorry. This really has been taken. And if you look closely, you may see that this bishop has one check here. And if it does deliver this check when this pawn is not here, it is checkmate. So to make that happen, we can sacrifice the queen. It's very hard to find sacrifices. It's advanced level type stuff, but this will help you in pre-advanced chess improvement. So we'll just sacrifice the queen. And black, they have two options. They can just block with this. However, this is just checkmate. Likewise, this way with the pawn, which it's a free queen, the black may think. But you open up that other diagonal, which leads to a checkmate. The king is blocked. So sacrifice is very hard to see. It's definitely a hard move, but this one, there's a mistake which people may do if they first play this move and they're like, oh, if he takes, it's just mate. No. But why does black have to take? Black can just play a simple move like this. This will block everything. And now the king can escape. So you have to be careful of how you sack. So sacrificing the queen, it's a very valuable piece. However, you gain your position and you checkmate. Now we'll look at the next example. The next example, as you can see, it is white to move, and it looks like a drawn position. However, actually white is winning here. It may look very weird, as you can see these pieces pretty even. Black, one minor piece each, one major piece each. However, black only has one pawn. White is going to promote, maybe, and then another pawn here. So it's pretty drawn position. It can be held by black, even if they lose the rook or something. So now this sacrifice is very, very hard to find. But many people would try and be like, oh, I've lost the pawn. Maybe I can do a fork here. However, if you try and play something like this, it's really not going to do anything, because if this happens, you have the check, but the king it's not in a problem. If it goes here, then there might be a little problem, because there's, as we've talked about, discovery attacks. But yeah, he'd probably go here. Nothing big would happen, it's just a draw. But there's one move which white can do. That is to sacrifice the rook. You may see here, this pawn delivers a check. This bishop can go here. The rook can go here. But they're not protected. But if the bishop can go here and the rook can take, then you have a nice check. To think like that, and then you win it. And then maybe your pawn can promote. But first, if you try and do something like this, boom, you lose it. So that's why you need to first try and protect your pawn by sacrificing the rook. Rook takes a pawn, you're up and you're winning now, most likely. We have a pawn each and you have an extra minor piece. The rook, if it tries to move, let's say it wants to protect itself, you get a queen. That's how simple it is. But there's one move, and the only move which black can really do is to take on e2. This is e2. That. Or even the worst, I mean, as I said this, but you're losing. But this is one of the okay moves. And then you'd be like, oh, but I'm just giving a rook. I'm still losing the pawn. No, you're not, because you have the very smart move, bishop sacrifice. So 2 sacrifices we're talking about here, and the previous one, so 3. And now, whatever, if they try and move here, you'll get a queen. That's how simple it is. So the rook, it basically has to take, it could go here if it wants to try and win the bishop. You could just play the simple move, promote. Then you may lose this. However, you have a queen, and a queen is, you know, a very powerful piece, and you have the pawn as well, which can be very annoying for black. So the best move would be to take one of the best, but it's not going to really help anyways, because then you have this nice check, and then the king is forced and then you have to take the rook, and black cannot stop this pawn from promoting. So you have to take the pawn, check, and you're winning. You're queen for a knight and a pawn. That's 9v4 points. Yeah, so this was a very complicated sacrifice. This is just to give you an idea that you can look at sacrifices when playing, as using chess.com's puzzles. Those are really helpful. I've improved a lot in my sacrificing pieces, like bishops, rooks, queens. Queens, not that very likely, but knights. Those can all be sacrificed if played correctly. So please think about sacrificing. If it works, think about it in your head. If you have a lot of time, if in a rapid game you have time, think about if the sacrifice works, because they can be very beneficial to your position and could maybe help you get advantage somewhat. So I hope you found this video very useful, and hopefully you maybe sacrifice some pieces in your game if it helps. Otherwise, thank you for watching. Thank you.